mentioned rebound program has been completely phased out?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the drug rebound program is starting as from now. We are presently training the teachers, whereas the Get Connected program is on and has already touched more than 29,000 students and more than 1,051 teachers have been trained. The Get Connected program has not phased out. It is meant for grade 8 students, whereas the Rebound program is meant for grade 10 students, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Right. Honorable Ganga Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I went through the National Drug Control Master Plan 2019-2023, where there is only a brief section dealing with Ministry of Education. May I ask the Honourable Minister why it has not been deemed necessary, in view of the alarming figures regarding illicit substances, to come with a master plan exclusively to address the problem of illicit substance abuse in our educational institutions to protect our children and all stakeholders?
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a national committee chaired by the Prime Minister with a number of other ministries involved dealing with the whole issue of drug abuse, not only in the community, but also in our schools. The Prime Minister himself carried out several meetings with students in different state schools and at the university level and at the polytechnics. Only recently, about a week back or 2 weeks back, there was a huge campaign, Unir contre la drogue, at the Côte d'Or with hundreds of students present, Mr. Speaker, sir. We take the issue very seriously, and it is being taken at the highest level, at the level of government.
Right. Last question, Honorable Ganga Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honourable Minister, as she has just mentioned, a special program in the curriculum called Get Connected is for grade 8 and Rebound for grade 10 students. What about primary school students, Honourable Minister?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the work has started. Primary school students are being sensitized. We have the educational psychologists, the educational social workers also addressing the issue at the level of primary schools.
Right. Honorable Ashevaden's next question.
Yes, Speaker. B631.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Municipal Council of Vacoas Phoenix that it has a total of 22 scavenging lorries engaged in scavenging services, and out of which 17 lorries are in running condition. With regard to part A of the question, the Municipal Council has informed that 5 lorries are actually under repairs. As regard to part B of the question, I'm informed by the Municipal Council of Vacoas Phoenix that 4 scavenging lorries has been procured since last year, as follows. The registration number 5Z153 acquired on the 4th of January 2024, 5Z154 acquired on the 3rd of April 2024, 5Z156 acquired on the 25th of July 2024, and 5Z157 acquired on the 25th of July 2024.
Yes, Honorable Ashevaden.
Speaker, et est-ce que le ministre est au courant que sur les 22 véhicules de la municipalité de Vacoas Phoenix, plus de la moitié sont dans un état déplorable? Est-ce que le ministre est au courant que 2 camions de la municipalité, 5Z138, 5Z139, roulent sans fitness? Est-ce que le ministre est-il au courant de cela?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I've just mentioned the number of lorries that are under repairs. As far as the lorries that are under repair, I would like just to mention the years. The first one, 5Z126, is in December 2010. That's when it was registered. 5Z138, February 2014. 5Z139, 2014 again. 5Z143, 2017, and 5Z145, 2018. I think he mentioned 5Z139. This is still under repair.
Right. Honorable Ashevaden.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, les camions de la municipalité qui sont en panne ou under repairs causent d'énormes préjudices aux habitants de la ville concernant le ramassage des ordures. Est-ce que le ministre est-il au courant que les garages de la municipalité ou les camions qui ne seraient pas dans les garages de la ville ou de la municipalité refusent la réparation des véhicules parce qu'ils n'ont pas été payés? Est-ce que le ministre est au courant de ça, que le budget de la municipalité n'arrive pas à payer les garages pour la réparation des camions de ramassage d'ordures?
A bit surprised to hear about this, Mr. Speaker, but I know the minor repairs are done in-house, firstly, and major repairs are outsourced in compliance with the National Land Transport Authority regulation, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Right. Honourable Utim, next question.
B632.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I had a consultative meeting with the three shipping lines, namely CMACGM Mauritius Limited, the Mediterranean Shipping Company Mauritius Limited, and the Maersk Mauritius Limited, to consider the significant increase in sea freight rates in the presence of representatives of the Mauritius Ports Authority, the Cargo Handling Corporation, the State Trading Corporation, and the Economic Development Board, as well as the representatives of my ministry, and also the External Communication Division of the Prime Minister's Office, the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries, and Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning and Development. It was noted that the continuous increase in sea freight costs is a complex and global issue, which is beyond the control of my ministry, and its impacts on our importers and exporters have been particularly severe. Mauritius, being a small island developing state, has not been spared due to the following main factors being attributed thereto. According to Freightos Baltic Index, there has been an 80% increase in the global freight index from $2,519 in January 2024 to $4,508 in June 2024. The increasing geopolitical instability in and around the Red Sea has necessitated the rerouting of shipping vessels to longer and safer alternative paths. These have not only extended transit times, but also increased the fuel consumption and operational costs, which significantly affect the overall shipping expenses. The US sanctions on Chinese imports have led to disruptions in trade flows and adjustments in global supply chains. This has contributed to rise in shipping rates. The restrictions have resulted in companies seeking alternative sources and routes, hence increase in time and fuel costs. Following the new core Asia-Europe service lane, shipping lines have to transit through Durban, which is currently facing congestion due to rising cargo volume and limited capacity, thereby reducing their availability. This is causing delays in cargo handling and increased costs for shipping companies and importers/exporters. The extra demand for bunkering and transshipment at the already busy port of Singapore as ships fuel up for a longer haul and offload the cargo that would previously have delivered to the Mid-East on the way to Suez, thus resulting in a delay of captive cargo destined for Mauritius. Delays at the Chinese and Singaporean ports, container shortages between China and India, and a shift of capacity from regional to long-haul freight services have resulted in various surcharges and higher rates impacting lower volume and regional trade routes. It is therefore more costly and difficult to secure freight services by importers in Mauritius. The rising fuel costs.
Honourable Minister, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Is your reply going to be much longer?
Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry is still working in collaboration with the 3 major shipping companies, along with other concerned ministries, to come up with short, medium, and long-term avenues to be explored with a view to addressing this complex situation. Concerning Part B of the question, presently there is no freight rebate scheme for the importation of goods as compared to the exportation sector, for which there are 2 freight rebate schemes, namely the freight rebate scheme by sea and freight rebate scheme by air, also known as Trade Promotion and Marketing Scheme managed by the Economic Development Board. The scheme has been introduced to increase competitiveness and catalyze exports in the Indian Ocean and African region vis-à-vis exports from Asia, which will lead to the establishment of a commercial feeder shipping facility on Africa, offering lower costs and reduced transit time for exporters, with the increase in the volume of containers to African region. Mr. Speaker, so it is a fact that as a welfare state, the government prevents price increases from being passed on to consumers by subsidizing these essential strategic commodities significantly, thereby maintaining their prices at a fixed rate. In this endeavor, the government is currently providing substantial financial assistance to the tune of 4.6 billion rupees as subsidies on the price of LPG, flour, rice and bread, to ensure that essential commodities remain affordable for its citizens. And in addition, my ministry regulates the prices of 37 commodities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before you ask, I will invite honourable ministers to, if you have long answers, to circulate. Thank you. Honourable Team.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Aujourd'hui, le journal titré « Nouvelle cascade d'augmentation de prix ». J'ai bien écouté l'honorable ministre. Dois-je comprendre qu'aujourd'hui, dans cette Assemblée, la ministre est incapable de donner une assurance à la population que les prix vont baisser à cause de l'augmentation, qu'il n'y a aucune mesure annoncée que le gouvernement va prendre pour baisser les prix suite à l'augmentation du fret?
Mr. Speaker, sir, je ne me base pas sur ce que les journaux disent. Okay? Because the trend for freight costs, the trend for the global freight costs is in the decreasing trend and is expected to reduce in the coming month due to decrease in demand in the global market. For instance, the increase in demand in United States market for electric vehicles coming from China had led to increase in the freight costs. Similarly, the demand is expected to decrease in the coming days, and the freight costs are expected to decrease in line with the market prices. But as we all know, Mr. Speaker, sir, the future is uncertain.
All right, honourable Team.
Madame la ministre, vous avez commencé vous-même votre réponse pour dire qu'il y a une augmentation du prix du fret, et selon mes renseignements, c'est jusqu'à 42%. Ma question était très spécifique. On a un freight rebate scheme pour l'exportation. Pourquoi n'introduisons-nous pas un freight rebate scheme pour l'importation de certaines commodités de base, de certains aliments, de nourriture, pour baisser les prix, un système de subsides? Pourquoi on n'a pas un freight rebate scheme pour ces nourritures-là?
Monsieur le Président, on a déjà tout ça, Monsieur le Président. The government is providing substantial financial assistance to the tune of 4.6 billion rupees on, I just said, on LPG, flour, rice and bread. Okay, and 12 products are fixed by the government. Moreover, we have also the maximum markup on 37 products, I just said, and also the regressive markup on the pharmaceutical products. So we are doing our best, Mr. Speaker, sir. I said that more than, yes, maybe if they were here, they were not going to do that much.
Last question.
La première partie de ma question concernant la rencontre avec les shipping lines. Est-ce que le gouvernement leur a proposé, par exemple, de revoir le tarif imposé par la cargo handling et la MPA pour les demurrage fees qui, à cause on a des portiques défectueux, ces navires passent plus de temps à Maurice. Donc on aurait pu négocier avec eux pour baisser le demurrage fees, comme ça le prix du fret aussi aurait baissé.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as I said, I've met the 3 shipping lines, and we are still working. We are working on it. All the relevant authorities were present during the meeting, and I'm waiting to come out with something.
Right, Honourable Ramphal, next question.
Sir, B633.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the price structure for MOGAS and gas oil is defined under the Consumer Protection Control of Price of Petroleum Products, Regulation 2011. It is the statutory responsibility of the State Trading Corporation as the sole importer of MOGAS and gas oil to collect the different contribution levied in the price structure of MOGAS and gas oil. With regard to Part A of the question, I am informed that approximately 4.19 billion rupees of value-added tax and approximately 4.58 billion rupees of excise duty has been collected and transferred to the Consolidated Fund for financial year 2023-2024. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that from the 1st July 2023 till date, 250 million has been transferred to the price stabilization account with respect to MOGAS on the 6th October 2023 in order to reduce the deficit and allow for a decrease in the retail price of MOGAS. As regard to Part C of the question, I am tabling the amount collected from the other contribution in the price structure of MOGAS and gas oil charged from consumers for financial year 2023-2024.
Yes, Honourable Ramphal.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Again, Mr. Speaker, the cost of living is a major concern to our fellow citizens. And we know that the high petrol prices has a major impact on other food items. Will the Honourable Minister consider either freezing or even reducing some of the contributions and taxes that are taken when calculating the price of petrol products?
Mr. Speaker, sir, that the money that are collecting on MOGAS and gas oil are given back to the population through subsidies. So what we are taking, we are already giving back. And it also helps, as you all know, it also helps to maintain our welfare state. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the honourable member, talk about, the money that we are charging. I want to remind him that, in 2014, the price of MOGAS at CIF was 20 rupees 50. And at that time, they were not post-COVID, nothing. no war in the world, and we were selling, bogas at 45 rupees 95, which means 124% tax was imposed. And right now, we are charging less than 100% tax on mogas.
Honorable Ramphal.
Speaker, I don't know if the minister is aware, the price of 1 barrel of crude oil in April this year was 90 USD per barrel. And this has gone down to 79 USD per barrel with no effect on the Mauritian price. Now, his colleague, Minister Kalichern, in a PQ stated that a technical committee will be set up at the level of his ministry with representatives of the State Trading Corporation, the Attorney General's Office, the Minister of Finance, to review the functioning of the Petroleum Price Committee, presumably to have, so that we can reduce the price of fuel products in the country. Can I know, since last year, May last year, has the committee met? Has it provided a report to the minister? Can we have some more details about this?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have this information, but what I can say is on the 24 May 2024, as at the last Petroleum Pricing Committee, when they met on the 24th of May 2024, and based on the new reference price of 858.08 US dollar per metric ton per mogas, that is the actual price for March to May 2024, and the future prices for June to August 2024 at an average rate of 46.84 rupees US dollar, the calculated new retail price worked out to be 69.66 rupees per litre. That is an increase of 5.22%. We were supposed to increase it by 5.22%. However, since the PSA for mogas had a positive balance, the retail price was maintained at its current level in accordance with the Consumer Protection Control of Price of Petroleum Products Regulation 2011. But concerning the gas oil, the tendency was, to reduce it. But the difficulty we got, it's because the PSA account shows a deficit of 4.3 billion rupees. That's why we couldn't decrease the price of gas oil.
Last question, briefly, please.
Very short question. In April this year, there was an international bidding exercise which was carried out by the STC for the supply of white oil for the period, coming period August 24 à juillet 25. Can we have the name of the successful bidder and the price retained?
Successful bidder is Sahara Energy. We'll start as from the 1st of August, the new supplier. I don't have this information with me.
Right. Honorable Jival, next question.
B634, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the grounding of MV Wakashio and the subsequent oil spill has had a significant impact on the fisher community of the affected area from Point Destiny to Trou-de-Douce. The more shows that a fishing restriction in the affected area had been declared from August 2020 to March 2021. To provide immediate financial support to fishers and fishmongers, the government initiated a solidarity grant scheme. Registered fishers, fishmongers, and applicant fishers in the affected region were each paid 10,200 rupees per month from August 2020 to March 2021, totaling 83,228,710 rupees disbursed as solidarity grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, in view of obtaining an adequate compensation for the loss of earnings of fishing community, my ministry had submitted to the insurer Japan P&I Club of the vessel a claim for additional compensation to fishers and applicant fishers on 19th of May 2021 for an amount of 134,616 rupees per fisher and another claim to the tune of 140,000 164 per fishmonger. The calculation obviously was based, claims for compensation were based on official catch data, which is usually compiled at the level of my ministry. Following lengthy negotiations, working session, as well as an assessment of the claims, the Japan P&I Club agreed to a total compensation amount of USD 2,650,048 USD to be paid to 999 registered fishermen, applicant fishers, and fishmongers, equivalent to the sum of 113,000 rupees per individual. Consequently, in December 2021, 113,000 rupees was paid to each of the concerned fishers, active fishers, and fishmongers as additional compensation, representing the full and final settlement of all claims for loss of earnings during that period of 8 months. This represented a monthly amount of 24,325 rupees per month paid to registered fishers, active fishermen, and fishmongers. This additional compensation was in fact payable to a total of, as I said, 999 individuals in the affected regions, comprising of 628 registered fishers, 197 applicant fishers, and 174 fishmongers. So I'm tabling a breakdown of the number of individuals per region who have benefited from the compensation. And with regard to the question for the region of Mayberg, payment was effected to a total of 466 beneficiaries, including 95 applicant fishers, 98 fishmongers, 17 fishmongers for seashells, and 256 registered fishers. This is it.
Yes. The Honourable Minister will know that just the famous saying, justice delayed is justice denied. It's been 4 years now. The ministry or the Japanese have compensated for loss of earnings, but as the Honourable Minister said, the damage to the environment, as it affects fishers and other economic players, has not yet been compensated. Now, what is the situation concerning that part of the compensation?
Rightly said, Mr. Speaker, sir. With respect to payment of additional compensation, I'm informed by the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change that with a view to gauging the impacts caused by the grounding of the vessel and the oil spill on the environment and on the economic, social, agricultural, health, leisure, cultural and heritage sectors, a consultancy service for carrying out an environment and socio-economic impact assessment was undertaken. In fact, following tender exercise, an international firm, Holland and Knight LLP, was appointed as consultant on 15 November 2022, and the latter submitted its report on the 22nd June 2023 to the Attorney General's Office and the Ministry of Environment, and further claim with regards to particularly loss of earning through environment damage relating to loss of earning, as I said, will depend on the outcome, of course, of the court case instituted by the insurer before the Supreme Court for the setting up of a limitation fund. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that the next hearing of the case on limitation fund before the Supreme Court is scheduled on the 8th of October 2024. And the government, in fact, the government also wishes that the above court case reach a conclusion at the earliest for consideration of payment for additional compensation to all those affected for loss of earning due to damage caused by the environmental impact. But then, as we all know, the stand of Mauritius in this case is that there cannot be any limitation fund as Section 195D of the Merchant Shipping Act. There is no limitation of the liability for oil spill damage. So we're still at court level.
Yes. To ask the Honourable Minister, what is his best estimate of the time that it will take for the court case to be concluded?
Mr. Speaker, so we know court cases, the long delays over there. But as hopefully on the 8th of October at the next hearing, we can obviously try to get at the earliest possible judgment on this issue so that we can obviously try to help all those who have been affected by this major oil spill.
Yes, Honorable Amemia.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. In relation to compensation to other economic operators which were direly affected by the infamous Wakashio shipwreck, can I ask the Honourable Minister if he can make sure in the report of the consultant that pleasure craft owners, beach hawkers and skippers are also included in the list for compensation?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in fact, I also wish to inform the House that as at date, the total number of 1,246 individuals, that is other than the 999 registered fishers and fishmongers, have been paid a total compensation of 22,708,150 rupees. These beneficiaries are mainly like fishmongers helpers, apprentice fishers, boat owners, seashell collectors, helpers on fishing boats, fish trap makers, and other boat repairers. In fact, all these, for the other claims, all these have been compiled and obviously are waiting for the judgment to activate all this.
All right, Honorable Ramphal, last question on this.
I'm given to understand that when the fishers were paid the interim payment, they were asked to sign a clause that they shall have no further claim whatsoever in respect to this incident. Can I have an undertaking from the government that despite that clause, government is going to pay them further payments?
As I just explained in my main answer, Mr. Speaker, sir, that settlement was for the 8 months for the loss of earning, because normally they were active fishermen. So that claim was as per the catch report that normally what they earn monthly, and that was calculated for the 8 months. Now, with regard to environment damage, it is in the report. It all depends how much the claim will be, but obviously, not only the fishers, but all the communities who have sent the claim at the ministry, all these, depending on the judgment, obviously all these will be taken account, and definitely the fishermen community will be in.
All right, next question, Honorable Itu.
Thank you. B635.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the new combinations of personalized registration marks have been introduced since 1st October 2021, following the promulgation of the Road Traffic Personalized Registration Mark for Motor Vehicle Regulations 2021. With regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed by the National Land Transport Authority that since 1st October 2021 to date, 33,135 applications for personal registration marks have been received, and 32,062 applications of personalized registration marks have already been approved. With regard to Part B of the question, according to information obtained from the NLTA, the revenue generated for all types of personalized registration marks since 1st October 2021 to date is 627,966,000 rupees.
Honorable Itu.
Thank you, Speaker. In his reply, Honorable Minister mentioned that around 33,000 applications were received and 32,000 applications were approved. Can Honorable Minister inform the House as to what are the reasons behind the around 1,000 rejection? Thank you.
Speaker, sir, the request, the application is not automatically granted because according to Section 14 of the regulations I just mentioned in my reply, a personalized registration mark should not contain certain words, for example, words that may be offensive, obscene, indecent, abusive, threatening, misleading, or humiliating in nature, should not contain names or acronyms of political parties, should not contain names of acronyms of religious groups, or should not contain words with religious or political connotations, or words that may create social unrest. I suppose these are the reasons why some of these applications are not acceded to.
Next question, Honorable Buddha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
B636.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Mauritius Revenue Authority that since April 2023 to date, a total of around 405 tons of flowers consisting of chrysanthemum, carnation, gypsophilia, among others, have been imported mainly from France, India, Iran, and Malaysia, for a total value of around 123 million rupees. These importations mainly occurred during the seasons of high demand for flowers, which included the Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and for the celebration of destination weddings in hotels. With regard to the exportation of fresh flowers over the same period, Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of around 22 tons were exported mainly to Australia, Canada, France, Italy, Japan, Réunion Islands, and the United Arab Emirates. The flowers exported consisted inter alia of anthurium, rose flowers, chrysanthemum, and tropical flowers. The total value of fresh flowers exported amounted to about 52 million rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House may wish to note that our ornamental sector, which is commercially driven and rather limited, comprises around 200 producers, nursery operators, and landscape designers, including approximately 10 anthurium growers utilizing 70 hectares of agricultural land, primarily located in the north, central plateau, and south of the island. While our flower production predominantly occurs in open fields, there has been a notable shift towards protected cultivation in recent years. About 40 growers now produce roses and gerbera over an area of 40 hectares. Additionally, 8 to 10 growers have ventured into chrysanthemum production, occupying 7 hectares. It is to be noted that ornamentals are cultivated year-round in protected conditions across humid, subhumid, and superhumid zones. As for roses and gladiolus, they are grown as from late July to October in subhumid zones in open field conditions, whereas tropical exotics and foliage can be cultivated year-round in open fields in any zone. Mr. Speaker, sir, to boost our local production, FAREI is carrying out research on ornamentals, namely anthurium, rose, chrysanthemum, and orchid, so as to produce high-yielding materials and flowers which are attractive to buyers. With regard to anthurium, from over 2,000 crosses, 4 varieties have been identified as promising based on their color, length, flower stalk, and its path size, for which trials are ongoing. New varieties of anthurium, roses, chrysanthemum, and orchids introduced from international nurseries are presently being assessed with regard to their adaptation to our local conditions. After evaluation, the most promising ones will be retained for commercial cultivation by flower growers. Thank you.
Honorable Buddha. I thank the Honorable Minister for the answer. He will recall that we were the second world producer of anthurium flowers at one point, behind Hawaii. May I ask the Honorable Minister whether there are duties which are imposed on the import of flowers?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe that VAT is applied, as far as I'm concerned. With regard to duties, I don't have that information. I can look for it, but I don't have it right now.
Honorable Buddha. Are there, yes, my second question is, are there specific varieties which may be cultivated, how far the research has reached so far, as regards to specific varieties where Mauritius can in fact have a high added value production?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to bear in mind that we are in a tropical island. We have specific climatic conditions that prevail, and whatever flowers that we can cultivate in Mauritius will be based on those factors. So, and it has to be, there has to be a market for it, and you have to be able to produce it at a competitive price. So all these factors have to be looked into before venturing in any type of particular flower to be produced commercially. Having said that, as you rightly said, at one time we were leader in the anthurium production and export, but unfortunately we also are aware that we have to have strict phytosanitary control in Mauritius when introducing any new varieties to ensure that diseases or pests are not introduced in the country to protect our local crops. So that is why, unfortunately, in the past, having been overcautious probably, we have not been able to introduce new varieties or new types of anthurium that has probably, in a way, made us lose our leader in that segment for producing and exporting anthurium. But then again, at the level of the FAREI, which is the research and development arm of the ministry, they are the one that do carry out research to ensure that whatever flowers that are introduced, potential to be introduced, are being looked at to see whether they have the potential to be grown here.
Yes. Next question, Honorable Navamari.
Yes, B637, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the National Land Transport Authority that Route 51, which operates from Port Louis New Transportation Centre to Pointe-aux-Sables, is served by 43 buses of the Triolé Bus Service Company Limited, which are licensed to operate thereat. These buses are released at 3 to 5 minutes interval during peak hours and 10 minutes interval during off-peak. The first release from Port Louis is at 5 hours 02, and the last release is at 19 hours 15, whereas the first bus departs from Pointe-aux-Sables at 5:27 and the last one at 19:45 hours. Sir, according to the NLTA, surveys are carried out by the Inspectorate on a fortnightly basis along Route 51. The last survey, which was undertaken on the 18th of July 2024, revealed that buses are operating in accordance with the established timetable. I'm also informed that as at date, no official complaint regarding irregular schedule of buses or recurrent bus service disruptions in the region of Pointe-aux-Sables has been reported to the NLTA. Nonetheless, I wish to inform the House that checks are still being made by the NLTA to ensure that passengers are provided with a regular, reliable, and adequate transport service. According to surveys carried out by the NLTA, it has been observed that the number of passengers converging towards Port Louis for their economic, social, educational, and health needs has considerably increased during the past years. In that context, the NLTA will have a meeting in the coming days with Triolé Bus Service Company Limited to look into the possibility to increase its fleet so as to meet the increasing demand of the traveling public.
Yes, Honorable Navamari.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to differ with the information provided by the Minister. Est-il au courant que des fois, des voyageurs doivent poireauter jusqu'à 2 heures pour avoir un autobus pour rentrer chez eux à Pointe-aux-Sables, plus particulièrement à une région appelée Kensington?
Mr. Speaker, sir, unfortunately for the honourable member, the information that I have confirm that surveys are being made regularly along this route. In fact, since January 2024, I have the dates of the surveys on the 18th of January, 9th of February, 15th of February, 26th of February, 14th of March, 16th of March, 27th of March, 3rd of April. I can go on, Mr. Speaker, sir. And for the month of July, It was on the 3rd of this month and on the 18th. And the surveys are carried out by road transport inspectors. I have their names with me, but I wouldn't like to mention their names. Surveys are carried out on a fortnightly basis by these inspectors. Triole Bus Service has a fleet of 206 buses, which it uses on a roster basis along the routes allocated to the company. The 43 buses I mentioned in my reply serve the number of passengers along Route 51 and are deployed by TBS every day along this route. And no contravention has been established against the buses or the crews along Route 51. No disciplinary case has been reported in respect of these buses operating along Route 51. So when I have that level of information, Mr. Speaker, sir, you can understand the content of my reply to the honourable member.
Yes. The last question, Honourable Lamamari.
Monsieur le Président, devant de telles inexactitudes, des informations erronées, je n'ai donc pas de choix que de ne plus poser de questions.
Honourable Asman Mohamed.
B638.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
Please.
unaccounted for water is an area of concern for water utility organizations across the globe. The World Bank defines unaccounted for water as the difference between the volume of water put into a water distribution system and the volume of water that is billed to customers. This definition encompasses both physical losses and commercial losses. Physical losses represent water loss through the leaks, bursts, and overflows in the distribution system, while commercial losses make up for water loss due to theft, unauthorized consumption, and meter inaccuracies. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that the latest indicators published by Statistics Mauritius provide a crude estimate of unaccounted for water as the difference between potable water produced and water used. I am tabling figures for the year 2017 to 2023 for the information of the honourable member. It will be noted that estimated unaccounted for water has been constantly declining since 2022 to date as a result of several actions taken to bring more efficiency in the network, to replace defective meters, and to reinforce control on thefts, illegal tapping, and leakages. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House has been informed in the context of previous replies to PQ relating to non-revenue water, there have been sustained efforts by government to replace critically old pipes and to increase water production. Thus, some 540 kilometers of pipes have been replaced between 2019 and 2024. Water production has expanded by more than 20% over the past 7 years. In the same vein, old and defective bulk meters are gradually being replaced across the island, whereby providing more accurate production figures. To this end, I am informed by the CWA that 259 new bulk meters have been delivered in December 2023 and are currently being replaced. With the support of Agence Française de Développement funding, the CWA will initiate a procurement exercise in 2024 to replace another batch of old bulk meters. I am further informed by the CWA that from October 2021 to June 2024, it has replaced 64,952 defective consumer meters, resulting in an additional annual revenue of approximately 65 million rupees. Moreover, the CWA also operates an anti-fraud unit which plays a critical role in reducing non-revenue water by detecting and addressing water pilferage and illegal water usage. Mr. Speaker, sir, overall, the various actions taken in the water sector are yielding positive results, contributing to an improvement in the reliability and efficiency of the water supply system. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mawed.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that the substantive minister, the Honorable Lejonga, is not in the House today. So, but then, based on the table that the Honorable Minister has provided, I know he won't be able to answer a question because he's not substantive minister. I would like just to make a comment and a question at the same time. In 2017, CWA sold 105 million meter cube of water and 111 million meter cube in 2023. Thus, an increase in sales of only 6 meter cube. From an additional production of 52 meter cube of water that came from a difference in volume between 313,000 meter cube, tabled by the Honorable Minister himself, produced in 2023, and 261 million meter cube in 2017. Based on these figures, non-revenue water, as defined by the Honorable Minister himself, is 88.5%. That is nearly 90%. But I'm sure he won't be able to answer because he's not substantive minister. But it goes on record. If you can answer, please do.
Order, just put your question.
Can you explain to the House?
Put your question.
Can you explain to the House why, therefore? Can you explain to the House, therefore? Relax. Since you mentioned that non-revenue water is on the decline since 2012, these figures say exactly opposite what you are saying.
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, my colleague is not present in the House and I'm answering a question. So the Honourable Member cannot say that it is unfortunate he is not here, first of all. Second of all, I have submitted a table giving details of non-revenue water from 2017 to 2023, and in the table, 2020 estimated unaccounted for water is then at 206 millimeter cube of water. 2023 is 202. So from 206 coming to 202, for me it is a decline in estimated unaccounted for water. The Honourable Member is saying the figures are not true, but I leave it up to him to decide.
Yes. Honourable Mahmoud.
I didn't say that the figures are not true, Mr. Speaker. I say that the figures that he has provided himself provide a different figure for non-revenue water. Therefore, can I ask him whether the 90% that I'm saying is lost through leakages, theft, commercial loss? Is there a breakdown for this that you can submit to the House?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I mentioned in the reply the various issues that are there, be it commercial losses or be it physical losses, that is theft, be it leakage, be it unauthorized consumption, and meters accuracy, etc. And also, what are the measures that have been taken? For example, 540 kilometers of water, of pipes being replaced. I also mentioned that defective consumer meters were replaced. 64,000 consumer meters were replaced that will give a proper indication of unaccounted for water. So, Speaker, sir, it's good that I also mentioned replacement of pipes is not done today for tomorrow. It is a long-term process. Had the previous government started at least some replacement of pipes, today, with the huge amount of pipes we are replacing, the situation of water would have been much better. Let me give you some information, Mr. Speaker, sir, to be able to understand In the year 2020, 23 to 2024, in 1 year only, 246 kilometers of pipe has been laid in-house at a total cost of 900 million. In 1 year. For the years 2010 to 2014, 4 years, they have replaced only 280 kilometers of piping over 5 years. That shows that if at that time there was some vision for this country, they would have started laying pipes, changing kilometers of pipes, and today we would have added on the system that the piping network would have been much better. Thank you.
Right. Next question, Honorable Ortiz.
B369. B639, merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that only one officer, Mr. H.S., Family Welfare and Protection Officer of my ministry, was interdicted on the 5th of May of 2023 as a police case had been lodged against him for breach of the Protection from Domestic Violence Act. The officer was interdicted under Regulation 31 of the Public Service Commission's Regulations 1967. That was subsequently amended on the 16th of May 2024. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has advised that there are no further action against Mr. H.S. My ministry has consequently already made a recommendation to the Public Service Commission to reinstate the incumbent in his post of Family Welfare and Protection Officer with effect from the 5th of May of last year.
Yes.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre si un certain Monsieur R a été suspendu de ses fonctions pour corruption en raison d'accusations selon lesquelles il aurait pris de l'argent en échange de promesses d'emploi, principalement envers les femmes?
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I wish to reiterate my answer to the PQ that has been put to me, that only one officer, Mr. H.S., I repeat, a Family Welfare and Protection Officer of my ministry, was interdicted on the 5th of May 2023 because there was a police case lodged against him. Only one.
Yes.
Thank you.
La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre le nombre de caregivers suspendus dans son shelter qui font partie de son ministère et ainsi que le nombre d'années de service? Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would first of all need notice of the question because it's completely different and I would very kindly, through you, ask the honourable member to learn the difference between suspension and interdiction.
Okay, last one. On the subject, please.
Yes, on the subject. Would the minister inform the House how many of the interdicted officers are agents politiques in her constituency? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, once again, there is only one officer who was interdicted and is being reinstated. How many? N, Papau, N.
Next question, Honorable Amemia.
Yes, B640.
Mr. Speaker, sir, officers of my ministry have reported that following their normal visits at the different retails around the island, a lack of eggs was noted on the shelves. I wish to inform the House that officers of my ministry have been following the situation closely over the past few weeks and conducting inspections at various retail outlets across the island. Mr. Speaker, sir, in fact, early this month, as soon as it was reported that in many cases shelves were empty, I chaired a meeting with the 3 major producers and distributors of eggs who supply 80% of the local market to get a better understanding of the issue. With regard to part A of the question, I am informed by the producers that there has not been a decrease in the production and distribution of eggs around the island. They have pointed out that there had been a noticeable surge in the demand of eggs in this period of the year, which relate to the new consumer behavior, more precisely to panic buying, resulting in a temporary scarcity which has been compounded by the media articles. Moreover, during the meeting, they have shown videos and images of people buying huge amounts of eggs, which, according to them, was for the purpose of reselling at higher prices. These people were profiteering from a supposedly non-availability of eggs, as reported in the media articles, for selling same at higher prices. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry issued a communiqué in mid-July informing the public that there was no shortage of eggs in the market and that we have received the reassurance from producers and distributors that the production of eggs will be increased further for that period. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards to part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that in the past 4 to 5 months, the producers and distributors have not increased their wholesale prices of eggs, and we have also noted that the retail prices in outlets directly supplied by these producers have not increased. Eggs are available at most retail points at a price ranging from ₹8.50 to ₹10, depending on the size of the eggs. It is to be noted that the price is not controlled, and it is left to be regulated by market forces.
Oui, Monsieur le Président, est-ce que le ministre est au courant que l'ACIM, Association de consommateurs, a mené une enquête dans 24 supermarchés et à travers l'île, et résultat de cette enquête, c'est que les prix ont grimpé considérablement, passant jusqu'à 13 roupies l'unité de l'œuf. Donc, et dans certains cas, il y a même, dans certains cas, jusqu'à 15 roupies l'unité de l'œuf, donc ça qui fait une augmentation de 30 à 40%. Donc, Monsieur le Président, est-ce que, can I ask the Honourable Minister if she will agree with me that people are finding this price very hard to pay? Fellow Mauritians are finding it very difficult, especially those who does not visit malls.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. ASIM has visited 24 supermarkets. Very good. My officers have visited 405 trade premises, including, shops, supermarkets, mall, whatever it is, where they sell eggs. We have visited 405 trade premises from the 15th to the 27th of July 2024. And, we did also a market survey. We did a market survey on prices of eggs. And like it is, we did a market survey from April till July. We have for Udor selection gross, and it's for 6 pieces. The price in July, it's ₹56.25. For Matin Très Gros, for 6 pieces, ₹59.35. For Udor Jumbo, for 6 pieces, ₹58.65. And for Udor Primeur, 12 pieces for ₹104.90. During, as I said in my answer, we have issued a communiqué on the 17th of July, and I've told consumers not to buy eggs higher than ₹10. I told them not to buy.
Honourable Tour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So my question was related to market survey and same has already been canvassed. Thank you.
Right. Honourable Sevaden.
Monsieur le Président, est-ce que j'ai bien compris la ministre dans sa réponse initiale, c'est que les producteurs d'œufs ont fait comprendre à la ministre que les Mauriciens en général ont changé leurs habitudes et pour le mois de juin, juillet, ils ont commencé à manger des œufs tous les jours. C'est ça que j'ai bien compris, une chose. Deuxième petite chose, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, je veux dire que... Qu'est-ce que...
Honourable Sevaden, wait. I am maintaining order. Honourable Sevaden, I am talking. Can you wait? I can do my job on the chair without your assistance. Thank you. One question, one subject matter, and I will get back to you on a second question. One question. Ask your question. It was intelligible.
Monsieur le Président, ce que les distributeurs m'ont dit, en général, pendant le mois de juillet, les personnes consomment plus d'œufs. Qu'est-ce que je peux faire si les personnes veulent manger plus pendant le mois de juillet? Après ce que j'ai compris aussi, puisque...
Look, Sevaden, I'm not going back to you. You're not listening to the answer. Listen to the answer. Do not engage in a conversation. Honourable Amdani, please. You asked a question.
L'honorable Ramdani est en train de me provoquer, je ne peux pas rester tranquille, je dois lui répondre, Monsieur le Président. Il faudra voir aussi.
Honourable Sevaden, listen to me, you take the point of order, you do not engage in discussions. Okay? You've asked a question, you listen to the answer, otherwise I will not get back to you. Continue, please.
Oui, je vais répondre encore une fois. J'ai dit que les distributeurs m'ont dit d'habitude, pendant le mois de juillet, comme si les consommateurs achètent plus d'œufs. Après, en même temps, il y a la Pâques, il y a la Vierge qui arrive. Ils ont commencé à faire le stock pour pouvoir vendre les gâteaux, ce qu'ils m'ont dit.
Right, Honourable Amiavia, last question.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, it's good and the population is listening what the minister stated to the House that the prices of eggs has not increased. And also, can I ask the Honourable Minister, she said that her officers went to 425 supermarkets, shops, etc. Can the minister table the result of such survey in the House?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have the list of course I don't have it with me, but I trust my, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Let her reply. But let her reply. Honourable Amiavia. Honourable Amiavia. Honourable Amiavia. You listen to my ruling? No, don't talk over me. I have the microphone. I have told you when you solicit an answer, you wait for the reply. Otherwise, I will not give you supplementaries. I am warning you. No, do not get in an argument with me. Please.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, ils sont en train de mettre en doute l'intégrité de mes officiers. À part ça, Monsieur le Président, Monsieur le Président, je voudrais ajouter quelque chose. Ce même opposition qui font semblant de défendre les consommateurs, je dois vous dire quelque chose, je dois vous avouer quelque chose. Il y a un membre de l'opposition, l'honorable Echanjuman, qui a téléphoné 2 semaines de cela à mon head de Consumer Affairs Unit pour lui dire pourquoi elle est allée servir des contraventions dans sa circonscription. C'est ça?
Okay, order. Honourable. Yes. Order. Yes.
Après les allégations de la ministre à l'encontre de l'honorable Echan Juman, est-ce que la ministre peut confirmer à la Chambre et à la population que depuis ce qui s'est passé, est-ce qu'elle est pas...
Wait, Honourable, wait. Are you taking a point of order or are you asking a question? What is it? Is it a point of order?
Vous permettez à ce que la ministre fasse des allégations gratuites contre un député? C'est gratuit.
What is the point of order? What is the point of order? No, listen, we will listen to the point of order. What is the point? Honorable Assevaden, I am giving you the opportunity. What is
Monsieur le Président, après des allégations, on demande à la ministre de retirer ce qu'elle a dit à l'encontre du député. Où elle va, la police?
Right. Honorable Minister, it is not proper, in fact, to conduct on the character of any member of the Assembly, the more so that he is not present. Kindly withdraw that part.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm just reporting what the head of my ministry told me. I'm just reporting. But
Right.
But if it's not proper, I'm going to...
Yes, thank you. Honorable Gulab. Look, I have to... Let me warn honorable members. It might be my first day or second day of question time, but I will not allow the House to get unruly. I will take sanctions if you do not obey the authority of the chair. So please, let us proceed in an orderly manner. Honorable Dulab.
P641.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we all know how vulnerable our country is when it comes to flooding. With climate change, the situation has become even more challenging, especially with the onset of recurrent flash floods. With a view to alleviating flooding, government is investing massively in drain projects as well as other flood mitigating measures. In 2021, an unprecedented sum of 11.7 billion rupees has been earmarked by the government under the National Flood Management Program for the construction and upgrading of some 1,700 drain projects over a period of 3 years. Starting with high-risk flood-prone areas, as at date, some 596 projects for a total amount of 4.9 billion have been completed, and the status of the remaining projects are as follows. 161 projects for a total amount of 4.3 billion are under construction. 7 projects estimated at 5.3 billion are at bidding stage. 911 projects estimated at 39.4 billion are at design stage. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the cleaning of drains, the Land Drainage Authority has earmarked some 1,500 kilometers for the financial year 2023-2024. Around 400 kilometers of drain have been cleaned by the local authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Land Drainage Authority that in constituency number 12, there are some 55.7 kilometers of drain networks, which takes into consideration the 47 drain projects that have already been completed and which amount to some 482 million. It is also to be pointed out that 11 projects for a total amount of 216.7 million are under construction. 4 projects estimated at 172.9 million are at bidding stage. 16 projects estimated at 403.9 million are at design stage. Out of the 55.7 kilometers of drain network, 50.8 kilometers of drain falls under the purview of the District Council of Grand Port for regular maintenance, and the remaining 4.9 kilometers of drain are along classified roads which fall under the purview of the Road Development Authority. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that for the financial year 2023-2024, funding allocated to the District Council of Grand Port for cleaning of drains and desilting of rivers was as follows. 2.5 million allocated for cleaning of drains, 18 million for the desilting of rivers, and 8 million for cleaning of drains post-Bilal cyclone. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm further informed by the LDA that a maintenance plan was submitted to the District Council of Grand Port in September 2023, and as at date, only 8.1 kilometers of drains out of 50.8 kilometers of drain have been cleaned through contractors. Desilting works along 9 rivers water courses have been carried out. The desilting of 3 water courses, namely River Eau Bleue, River Délice at Grand Bel-Air and Petit Bel-Air, and watercourse at Concarol are still pending. I wish to highlight that the onus is on the District Council of Grand Port to carry out regular inspection and regular maintenance such that the stormwater drainage infrastructure within the jurisdictions are cleaned to allow free flow of water at all times.
Yes, Honorable Dulab.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So if I got it well from the reply of the Minister, despite funding, I got it well, despite funding has been provided, only 8 kilometers of drains on a total of 50.8 that you mentioned has been maintained by the District Council. What are the actions that are being envisaged by your ministry?
Mr. Speaker, sir, as you know, the LDA now also has the power to enforce. So warning letters has been issued to the District Council of Grand Port because indeed some of our rivers, drains in constituency number 11 and in number 12 are in very bad states. In fact, there has been a case that came up on radio at Grosbieux, which do fall under the purview of the District Council, and unfortunately, nothing has been done, and there were complaints from inhabitants in the region. And I should thank my honorable colleague, Honorable Siratan, and who helped a lot, and we have had more facilities to intervene immediately to solve and bring some peace to those inhabitants.
Yes, Honorable Dulab, last question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With regards to projects that are being undertaken actually in the constituency number 12, can we have from the Minister a status on the retention pond that where work started in Martaba?
Once again, Mr. Speaker, sir, this project was given to the District Council of Grand Port under emergency, and after 2 weeks of works, given it was an emergency and we needed instant and immediate action on the field, and nothing was being done. And I had no choice but to step in and to request the PS of the ministry to recall the file and to re-award that project to the NDU. And now it's almost completed, and there are some snags that we need to do around. Thank you.
Right, next question, Honorable David.
B642.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Municipal City Council of Port-Louis of the illegal dumping on the street connecting the Royal Highness Street and Apricot Silk Street in the region of Débarcadère, Pointe-aux-Sables, by a resident of the vicinity. I'm further informed by the City Council that the scavenging service in the region is providing twice weekly service through a private contractor, and the latter has a responsibility to cart away any refuse found there as and when required. The last site visit was effected on the 12th of July 2024 by the councillor and an officer of the Municipal City Council of Port-Louis. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that the council will remove the heap of soil found there to allow free access on Apricot Street. Moreover, the council will clean and cart away soil and construction debris by the end of this week, and will ensure that a no dumping sign is fixed at that particular place.
Yes, Honorable David.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Honorable Vice Prime Minister mentioned very clearly and rightly that there is illegal dumping in that public street. May I know from the Vice Prime Minister whether there have been any preventive or punitive measures taken to address this specific issue of illegal dumping in that street?
I mean, as far as construction debris is concerned, I think that depends on the resident as well. They realize this is it's a road which is used by the public, and they can't just dump everything on the road. I think that would depend on, it's common sense. They should not dump things just on the road, and we can't blame the local authorities if you dump your stuff on the road, and tomorrow mornings they have to be there to cart it away. That's why we're having this problem. I think it's just a matter of sensitization to the public. That's much more important, I think.
Yeah, Honorable Lavamarie.
Yes, thank you, sir. May
Ask the Minister whether he will impress upon the Municipal Council of Port Louis to deal with the same issue at corner Jacquier and Cerisier Streets in Pointe-du-Sable.
Mr. Speaker, so I think we'll need, that's a
Yes.
different question.
Yeah. Honorable David, last question.
May I know from the Honorable Prime Minister what budget or resources have been allocated for the cleaning and rehabilitation of this public
I mean, we
street?
have a budget. Municipality Council of Port Louis has a budget. I can't remember offhand for which street, how much budget, how much money is allocated to each street. But the councils have the budget to clean, not just in Pointe-du-Sable, but across the city of Port Louis.
Okay, Honorable Leopold, next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, B643.
Mr. Speaker, sir, while there is an increase in the rate of Cesarean section in all the countries for the last decade, in Mauritius, some 4,321 Cesarean sections were done. That is representing 57% of deliveries in public hospital, while in private hospitals, 3,023 Cesarean deliveries were done, representing 68.4% deliveries. Now, in Rodrigues, a total of 306 Cesarean sections, representing 40.5% births through CS undertaken in the year 2023. The reasons accounting for the increase in Cesarean sections being first is the maternal demographic, that is late pregnancies, obesity, diabetes, fetal distress, failed induction of labor, malpresentation, teenage pregnancies, patient not attending antenatal care, HIV positive mothers, or all these other causes of Cesarean sections. Mr. Speaker, sir, regard to part B of the question, it's worth pointing out that by undergoing Cesarean, the incidence and rate of surgical complications for mother may also increase, and risk of having repeated Cesarean sections in the future, that also increased in parallel. Ministry has embarked on a series of measures. One is introduction of maternal and child health care for all women in the reproductive age group, preconception, antenatal, obstetric care, postnatal care, breastfeeding and care of newborn. That also we have introduced and been done by trained midwives in medical clinics, area health centers and community health centers. Gynecologists are 24 hours basis being in the hospital now. At all time you have a gynecologist posted in the hospital. Awareness campaigns through TV, radio program on maternal and child health, that also been done, sexual and reproductive health clinic and family planning clinic. Mr. Speaker, sir, in 2023, the maternal and child health handbook has been reviewed to include so many issues, including growth monitoring, and that helps a lot for attending the issues of Cesarean section.
Yes, Honorable Leopold.
Can I ask the Honourable Minister whether it is professionally ethical for gynecologists to undergo Cesarean section without clinical indications?
See, the indications are clear. It's a question of the gynecologist because this is a very critical period between the time of labor, and I don't think that has any issues of ethical. It's a question of whether the criteria are met to do Cesarean sections. It's very difficult to say that it is whether that has an ethical issues. It's more like saving lives of the mother and the baby, because two young age person is involved here. I'm not so comfortable in
Yes.
Can I ask the Honourable Minister whether patients, women, they are allowed to ask for Cesarean section even it's not clinically indicated?
Yes, so it's all depend upon the gynecologist's clinical finding, because that person, the gynecologist, been following the whole antenatal and knowing that probably if ever there is obesity, diabetes, these are the potential areas where a Cesarean section will be indicated. And at the same time, it's more a clinical decision. It's very difficult to reply to this question, I think.
Yes, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Notwithstanding the causative factors mentioned by the Minister, in relation to the high incidence, would the Minister state whether, had there been proper follow-up, incidents could have been mitigated?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. So as I've pointed out, because of now the pregnancies are being late mothers, women with advanced age of pregnancy and other issues coming up, already having previous pregnancies means automatically the rate of pregnancies will keep on increasing, Cesarean section will keep on increasing. So it's a matter of how are we addressing all these issues. It's going to come up, but we have to address our NCD problem as well. The NCDs being the major issues and obesity that we've got to tackle, including cigarette and alcohol. Already in the population, there is a percentage of women consuming alcohol and cigarettes. After a long, with some more time, we may come up to a plateau of the increase in the of Cesarean section.
Honourable Ramphal, next question.
Mr. Speaker, B644.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the information requested regarding Part A and B of the question are being placed in the Library of the National Assembly. However, I wish to inform the House that as at date, there are 197 cremation facilities in Mauritius, out of which 165 are traditional pyres and 32 are cremation incinerators. I'm informed that 16 cremation incinerators are in operation, whilst the remaining 16 are LPG-fired human incinerators, which were supplied by Kanta Electrical India Limited under the Indian line of credit. The second 16 ones, they are not in operation. The contract for the latter 16 LPG-fired human incinerators was awarded on the 26th of July 2019, but no provision for the maintenance was made in the bidding document. The respective local authorities had launched several bids for provision of maintenance services to these incinerators, but they were unsuccessful. In this context, my ministry had, on the 27th of March 2024, invited bids centrally for the repairs and maintenance of the 16 incinerators on a customized basis to allow local service providers to bid, and the closing date for submission of bids was the 25th of April 2024. One offer was received, and after evaluation, it was found to be non-responsive. A second bidding exercise was carried out on the 19th of June 2024, and the closing date for the submission of bid was fixed for 18th of July 2024, following which one bid has been received and same is under evaluation. In the meantime, all requests for incineration received at the level of the different council are being redirected to the nearest cremation incinerators, which are in operation in the respective council jurisdiction.
This issue is causing a lot of anxiety to the grieving families. It's been 5 years now since those 16 incinerators are not in operation. May I call upon the Honourable Minister to kindly look into the matter and treat this issue with urgency, given the fact that in my constituency itself, there are, I think, 2 incinerators that are not in operation. May I call upon the Honourable Minister to kindly look into the matter?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I appreciate that it's a very sensitive issue. I would like firstly to mention that in Grand Port, 2 are operational, 2 incinerators at Rosebel and Plein-Maillan. That's what I've been told. And we have, as I've mentioned in my reply, we have done, the local authorities have done their bidding at their level. They didn't manage to get anybody. As a centrally, we have done the first bid. Nobody, we didn't get any responsive bid. And we have just launched it, and now we have got 1 responsive bid, and we are trying to work on it. And hopefully we can get a solution. I appreciate you have 16 out of 32. It's not fair. 50% of them are not functional. I appreciate that. And believe me, we are working on it, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honourable Ganga Prasad.
5.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in regard to grade 9 and 9+, I wish to inform the House that no deloading of the syllabus has been envisaged for the forthcoming National Certificate of Education Examinations 2024.
Yes.
No further question.
Right. Honorable Ashevaden. Yes, your turn.
B646.
Speaker, sir, the Central Water Authority supplies water across 6 water supply zones on the island, respective of constituencies. The regions of Confoucro, Highlands, and Belle-Rive are part of the Vacoas Upper Water Supply Zone, receiving water from the La Marie Water Treatment Plant, which has a treatment capacity of 130,000 cubic meters per day. According to information from the CWA, the Vacoas Upper Water Supply Zone had 79,448 subscribers as at 30th of June 2024, reflecting an increase in view of new morcellements and commercial projects. These have contributed to added pressure on the existing water supply network. Mr. Speaker, sir, in May 2023, in response to PQB 522 from the Honourable Member, the House was informed about the water improvement projects undertaken by the CWA since 2019 to increase the water supply in this zone. This included the commissioning of 2 boreholes, one at La Marie in 2019, supplying 6,900 cubic meters per day, and another one at Valentina in 2022, providing 5,500 cubic meters per day. Furthermore, the CWA has replaced 3.1 kilometers of old and defective pipes out of a total of 3.3 kilometers in the region of Phoenix, Confoucro, Valentina, and Highlands, and the remaining 200 meters expected to be completed by mid-August 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, regarding water supply, I am informed by the CWA that the lower parts of Confoucro and Highlands receive a 24/7 water supply, while the upper part of Confoucro receives 12 hours of water supply daily. I am further informed by the CWA that some 25 inhabitants of Conchapeau, Belle-Rive, who used to be supplied by dug wells in the past, have made a request to be connected to the CWA network. The request is currently under consideration. Mr. Speaker, sir, it must be outlined that the major constraints faced in this water supply zone are inadequate water treatment capacity, old pipe networks, and increasing demands. Actions are being taken on several fronts to address the water intermittency in some parts of the zone. It is expected that water supply in the aforementioned regions will considerably improve after the upgrading of La Marie Water Treatment Plant. I am informed by the CWA that a consultancy exercise to increase the treatment capacity of La Marie Water Treatment Plant to 160,000 meter cube per day through the upgrading of its rapid gravity filtration. The exercise has been completed and the contract is expected to be awarded shortly, and works expected to start in September 2024 for a duration of a year. Mr. Speaker, sir, furthermore, I'm informed by the CWA that several pipe replacement projects in the Vacoas Upper Water Supply Zone and approximately 66 kilometers of old and defective pipes have been identified for replacement as from the year 2024, and this includes some 13.6 kilometers in the region of Confoucro Highlands, and Solferino. These works will concern, among others, Deschalets dans les Briands, Robinson Road, Haussmann Road, Saint-Paul, Remy-Ollier Street, Clausel, Balgobin Road, Saint-Paul, Gopi Lane, Clausel, Rupchan Lane, Parisot, and Djogu Road and Nehru Lane, Phoenix. Petit Camp, including laterals, Belterre Road, amongst others.
Yes, Honorable Sevaden.
I have a small conclusion, Mr. Speaker, so if you allow me, just to give all the information to the Honourable Member. In addition to the above planned pipe replacement works for a better efficiency of the network, the CWA intends to drill a duplicate borehole at Valentina to supply water production and further improve the water supply in the Highlands region. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Sevaden.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. C'est bien, Monsieur le Président, que le ministre reconnaît que la distribution d'eau à Canfoucro, Highlands et Bellerive ne se fait pas sur un 24-hour basis. Là, actuellement, quand je pose la question, 3 camions de la CWA.
Honorable Amemia, I have warned earlier about. You should apologize. Yes.
Je peux. Là, actuellement, à l'heure où je vous parle, Monsieur le Président, 3 camions citernes de la CWA alimentent la région de Canfoucro, Highlands et Bellerive. Monsieur le Président, ça fait déjà 10 ans. J'ai posé la question l'année dernière concernant ces régions spécifiques que le ministre a fait référence, effectivement, à Canfoucro, Highlands et Bellerive. Ça fait déjà, Monsieur le Président, 10 ans depuis la promesse électorale de l'Alliance Les PEP pour une distribution d'eau 24/7 dans le pays. Ma question est simple pour ces habitants de Canfoucro, de Highlands et de Bellerive, Monsieur le Président. Quand est-ce que cette promesse de 24/7 de distribution d'eau sera une réalité, du moins pour la région de Canfoucro, de Highlands et de Bellerive?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in my reply, I mentioned that I am informed by the CWA that the lower parts of Canfoucro and Highlands already receive water 24/7 supply. And only the upper part of Canfoucro receive 12 hours of water supply. And I have mentioned also for Bellerive, 25 inhabitants of that region, households and household, have recently made a request to the CWA to be connected in the water supply because for many, many years they have been using dog wells for water consumption. And this request is currently under consideration by the CWA to do the needful.
Right. Last question, Honorable Sevaden.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, la promesse électorale de 2014 concernait le upper parts et le lower parts. Les gens de Canfoucro, de Highlands, que ce soit lower ou upper, font partie de l'île Maurice, Monsieur le Président. Ma question est simple. Le ministre suppléant, je peux comprendre, peut prendre l'engagement ici dans cette Chambre, quand, du moins un mois, une année, une date, la promesse de 24/7 de distribution d'eau sera une réalité dans ce pays.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I have also mentioned in the reply what actions are being taken. For example, upgrading of La Marie water treatment plant to have a water supply of 160,000 meter cube. I've informed about various pipe replacement projects in that particular region. And all these measures that have been taken by the CWA will definitely bring more smoothness in the water supply in the region for the inhabitants of all those areas mentioned.
Honorable Navamari, next question.
B647.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we extend our sincere condolences to the family. The patient, ERA, she was admitted at Nehru Hospital on 26 June 2024 and relatives signed discharge against medical advice on Sunday 30th June 2024 to continue treatment in the private clinics. Given that there has been a press article dated 14th July 2024 in a weekly newspaper stating that there has been an alleged case of medical negligence. The matter has been referred to Medical Negligence Standing Committee and the Medical Council. Thank you.
Merci. Est-ce que le ministre se propose de remettre une copie des conclusions du rapport de ce comité à la famille de la dame décédée, s'il vous plaît?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, as stated in the Medical Negligence Committee, so the families will be called whenever the inquiry is completed and given a report to the families.
Okay. Honorable Buddha. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B648, please.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that since 1998, price controls on essential commodities have been implemented in response to varying economic conditions with the aim to shield consumers from unjustified price increase and maintain their purchasing power. Currently, my ministry has put in place price mechanisms and control. Number A, the maximum price and maximum markup on 37 categories of commodities for Mauritius, and the maximum price of 23 essential commodities in Rodrigues. Out of the 37 categories of commodities, 25 essential commodities are regulated under a maximum markup regime. These include products such as milk powder, breakfast cereals, canned fish, edible oil, basmati rice, imported fresh fruits, infant milk powder, and baby diapers, amongst others. The markup is capped within a range of 15% to 45%. The remaining 12 commodities, such as gas oil, mogas, LPG, cement, bread, flour, rice, ration rice, onions, and potatoes, are regulated under a fixed maximum price regime to ensure affordability and accessibility for every Mauritian citizen. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government is currently providing substantial financial assistance to ensure that essential commodities remain affordable to the public by subsidizing LPG, like I said, flour and rice. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government has consistently been prioritizing the well-being of its people by implementing these measures and remains committed to controlling the prices of goods whenever necessary. And for that reason, a dedicated team at the level of my ministry conducts ongoing market analysis and monitor the price evolution of essential commodities. Based on these findings, recommendations are made for policy interventions and decisions whenever it is necessary. It is important to note that while controlling prices of goods can provide immediate benefits for consumers and social welfare, achieving a balance whilst considering the economic impact is crucial to ensure long-term stability and sustainable growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, the rising costs in commodity, as I had mentioned earlier, are beyond governmental control. This challenge is a global phenomenon affecting countries worldwide, and my ministry will leave no stone unturned to ease the burden on consumers while ensuring the country's economic stability is maintained.
Thank you for a reply. But she hasn't answered the question at all. My question was whether her ministry will consider the policy of un blocage de prix pour un certain temps sur un certain nombre d'articles. Est-ce qu'il y a une étude qui a été faite dans ce sens, Madame la Ministre, concernant cette possibilité-là, qui a été appliquée à La Réunion avec succès et qui va devenir probablement une politique adoptée par le nouveau gouvernement en France?
Mr. Speaker, sir, no study has been made here right now, but in order to ease the burden on consumers and mitigate the effect of rising prices, the government has introduced several measures to safeguard the purchasing power of consumers, right? Such as the CSG allowance, child allowance of 2,000 rupees for children, the revenue minimum guarantee, salary minimum guarantee, school allowance for, that is the increase in pension. So, we are helping the population through other measures.
Honourable Minister, whether her ministry has considered the possibility of subsidizing locally produced items.
Right now, we haven't discussed about that, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Right, next question, Mr. Itu.
Thank you, Speaker. B649.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in 2021, government rolled out an unprecedented national flood management program to the tune of 11.7 billion for the construction and upgrading of drains project over 3 years, starting with the high-risk flood-prone areas. I'm informed, Mr. Speaker, sir, that as at date, as I mentioned earlier, but come back again in that question, which is spearheaded by the Land Drainage Authority, comprises of 1,700 drain projects, which are being implemented in several institutions as follows: 952 projects by the NDU, 56 projects by the Drain Infrastructure Construction Limited, 39 projects by the Road Development Authority, 716 projects by the local authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, since the coming up of the National Flood Management Program in the financial year 2021-2022 till date, 596 projects for a total amount of 4.9 billion have been completed. 161 projects for a total amount of 4.3 billion are under construction. 71 projects estimated at 5.3 billion are at bidding stage. 911 projects estimated at 39.4 billion are under design stage. These drains works, which aim at reducing risk of flooding in flood-prone areas, comprise the construction of new drains, as well as the upgrading and maintenance of existing drains across the island. Some examples of flood-prone areas which have been rendered resilient to flooding and where the risk of inundation has been greatly mitigated are Canal Anglais, Cité Roman, Richter, Belle Source, Pamplemousse, Camp la Cloche, Pointe-au-Piment, Fond du Sac, Cottage, L'Amitié, La Paix, Piton, Petite Julie, Tatamaka River, La Caverne, Canal Aliman, Vacoas, La Flora, Chemin Grenier, and Pink Pigeon in Queen Victoria. Mr. Speaker, sir, road networks which were previously subjected to flooding have also been rendered safe through the construction of new bridges and culverts of higher hydraulic capacity. Some examples are Enjoncé, Vieux Grand Port, Saint-Denis Bridge, Tatamaka River, La Caverne, Constance, La Brasserie, Cité Atli, Mapou, Nouvelle-France, M1 at Richter, and l'Espérance Quartier Militaire. Mr. Speaker, sir, our effort to build up resilience over several other regions throughout Mauritius are ongoing. For example, drain projects are currently being undertaken at Souillac, Nouvelle-France, Mortaba, Dynamo Street, Tayac, Dakri Bambou, Balisson Union Park, Nouvelle-France, Sans Souci, Montagne Blanche, Providence, Saint-Pierre, Saint-Julien, Valletta, Trois-Boutiques, Petit-Verger, Camp-de-Mars-Pavé, La Laura, Vallée des Prêtres, Canton Nancy, Pamplemousse, Rivière des Anguilles, Anderson Road, Cupip, Kestrel Lane, Terre-Rouge, and Saint-Jean, Quatre-Bornes. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have repeatedly mentioned in this House there is no dry feed policy to eliminate flooding. This is evidenced by flooding events which have been occurring worldwide throughout the year. There is no specific time for such an event to occur. Recent example of flooding which occurred in the US, China, Dubai, and even Europe, leading to hundreds of casualties and fatalities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the priority of this government is and will be to safeguard the lives of the citizens at all costs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes. Honorable Itu.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. Honorable Minister, and the House will agree that the government has accomplished a Herculean task by setting up of the National Flood Management Program. The Land Drainage Master Plan has already been accessible, and funding to the tune of 11.7 billion rupees is now available for the implementation of flood projects, drain projects, sorry. Can Honourable Minister please inform the House what is delaying all the implementation of these projects that are still being awaited, and what are the challenges that is facing? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. In fact, this is a very pertinent and interesting question to deal with. Despite having I should thank the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister to have given us the required budget, but unfortunately, very often, we don't have the right of entry on lands, especially when we have to acquire private properties or we have to work within privately owned areas. Very often the negotiations are very tedious. There's long negotiation, and very often we also face challenges. You can tell me, why don't you go for compulsory acquisition? Then how do you prevent that person from going to the court and trying to resist giving that plot of land? So this is a long procedure that we are having to go through. You realize if you are building 1 kilometer of drain, you have one person in the middle who oppose the whole project get blocked. Because here we are talking about drain. We have to take the water to a safe discharge point. That's one. Secondly, l'île Maurice aujourd'hui est un chantier à ciel ouvert. Alors, we have also here a problem of having contractors. A lot of our local contractors have their diary full. I think Solange is no more writing anywhere in the diary. There's no place in the diary. So this is why now we're also trying to see other avenues to try to get experts from elsewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So next question, Honourable Dulab.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, B650.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, during the budget vote for financial year 2019-2020, funds were allocated to my ministry for the implementation of the project through a grant with Abu Dhabi Fund for Development. The grant agreement was signed in February 2019. HSCC, a Government of India company, was appointed a project consultant. Despite facing 2 years delay in project preparation and design due to COVID-19, Ministry stayed committed in delivering a healthcare infrastructure. Following international bidding exercise, the contract for the construction of new high hospital at Redjui was awarded to Varindera Construction on 18th July 2022 for a contract value of 714,676,558 rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the commencement date of works was 29th July 2022 and the extended completion date is 30th September 2024. The 108-bedded and 7-storied facility having 4 operation theaters and 6 ICU beds is intended to be operational by the beginning of next year.
Yes, Honourable Dulab.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, the Minister just mentioned that the hospital is intended to be operational early next year. Can the Minister confirm whether ophthalmology services will be maintained at the new Suyak hospital currently being offered there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, likely this will be maintained due to the growing number of cataract surgeries that has to be performed with the increasing proportion of the aging population. Likely this, the facility in the south will be maintained because at present the cataract surgeries, some are being contracted to be conducted by the private clinics, and likely in the future we have to at the same time run Suyak Hospital to deliver the service on time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, can the Minister inform the House whether with the opening of the new eye hospital, he intends to repurpose the actual currently operational Subramania Bharati Eye Hospital in Mocha?
Sorry, please.
Does the Ministry intend to repurpose the Subramaniam Bharati Eye Hospital, the current eye hospital of Mocha? Does your Ministry intend to repurpose with the opening of the new hospital in Reddy?
Yes, so once all the services at Subramanian Eye Hospital will be shifted to the new eye hospital, and the facility over there, that will be taken for the time being. The Minister has decided to keep it as a center for for contaminated diseases, such like, at least we have one center where all these infectious diseases can be admitted.
Honorable team, next question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B651.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the recognition of conformity certificates as announced in the annex to the budget 2024-2025 is in line with the ease of doing business mandate to make it easier for businesses to trade, import and manufacture in Mauritius. Mr. Speaker, sir, the control for electric cables exists since more than 3 decades. In the past, most importers could not produce conformity certificates for electric cables. The prevailing Consumer Protection Safety Requirement Regulation 2019 provides for mandatory testing of electric cables by the MSB to ensure that they meet the required standards. In fact, these regulations already recognize conformity certificates for a number of items, including electric water heaters, automatic circuit breakers, residual current switches, leakage module, flexible tubes, pipes and hoses, hair dryers, table fans, wall fans, dishwashing machine, clothes washing machine, whirlpool bath, etc. For these items, there is no need for a further testing by the MSB. In line with ease of doing business, the conformity certificates as per European standards or British standard for electric cables insulated with plastic materials other than armored underground electric cables are being recognized similar to other electric items. This measure is in line with the rationalization of norms and standards to meet international norms. Government is, as it is the case for a number of electric items, recognizing the certificates of conformity, for instance, which are meeting EU standards, will no longer have to go through an additional layer of mandatory local testing by the MSB, which has an impact on the time taken and the cost of sales of operators and ultimately on the retail price of products. My ministry has received representations from operators, and I am also informed that the Economic Development Board has also received similar representations to facilitate trade and to improve the ease of doing business in Mauritius. As per established procedures for amendments to be made in any legislation, there is a need for in-depth consultations with relevant stakeholders and authorities concerned. As at date, no amendment to Consumer Protection Safety Requirement Regulation 2019 to allow full recognition of conformity certificates for electric cables has been made. Mr. Speaker, so in view thereof, my ministry has initiated the consultation process with a view to consider all implications involved, given that quality standards should be ensured. Thank you.
Yes, only one supplementary in view of the time. Yes, only one.
Okay, only one supplementary. My question was very specific regarding Mauritius Standard Bureau. So may I know from the Honourable Minister whether the Mauritius Standard Bureau has been consulted and what was the advice given by the Mauritius Standard Bureau with regards to them ceasing to carry out tests on electric cables?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the MSB has submitted their views regarding the implementation of the measure, and same are being considered, and further discussions are ongoing with the view of addressing any concern and to ensure the smooth implementation of the measure while ensuring product safety.
Right, time is over. Honourable members, question addressed to ministers. Table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B654, B655, B658.
Mr. Speaker, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. Yes. So the question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say ayes. Those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Statements by ministers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I shall make two statements to the House. I shall firstly make a statement regarding the renewal of the motor vehicle license known as Declaration, which is coming into full operation as from the 1st August 2024, and the first phase will concern owners of private vehicles involving some 350,000 vehicles. Mr. Speaker, sir, the House may wish to be informed of the numerous operations being carried out at the level of the NLTA with regard to the current fleet of 650,000 vehicles, which is increasing at a rate of 4% annually. In fact, there are at least 800 customers calling at the NLTA counters daily, and some 27 transactions are carried out on a monthly basis, with the highest frequency for the payment of motor vehicle license, out of which some 6,592 persons call at the head office, Cassis, Forestside, and Flac. Mr. Speaker, sir, however, despite the introduction of the first phase online MVL in November 2018 for the renewal of MVL by owners of private motor vehicles, there has not been a proper uptake of this platform, being given that they have the choice between the traditional paper-based MVL, wherein vehicle owners physically call at the NLTA counters or at the post offices around the island, and the online MVL alternative. Many people are therefore not opting for the online system, and hence NLTA faces a high number of people converging at its counters at Cassis, Flac, and Forestside. Sir, my ministry held several consultations with relevant stakeholders such as the NLTA, State Informatics Limited, and the Central Informatics Bureau in order to enhance the online platform and make it more convenient to users. Following various tests carried out on the online platform for its effectiveness, same have been successfully attended to. As a result thereof, a cut-off date of 31st July 2024 for the MBL online phase 1 has been agreed by all stakeholders. However, there will be a transition period up to the 1st of December of this year for such transactions to be effected manually at the post offices only. As from the 2nd December 2024, owners of private vehicles will have to renew their MBL solely through the online platform. This e-service will serve as a one-stop shop to enable the public to renew their MBL and effect the appropriate payment online by virtually accessing the NLTA system, which is also connected to the insurance system. It is to be also highlighted that the online system has been enhanced to cater, amongst others, for the integration of the IPS gateway, whereby several options for payment, namely Juice, Blink, Mighty Money, and others are provided. Sir, a 24/7 help desk online facility has been set up by the NLTA to assist users encountering difficulties while using the online system. A sensitization campaign in that respect has already been launched on Friday, 19th of July 2024, to ensure a seamless uptake of the online MBL system by owners of private vehicles, highlighting the above-mentioned aspects, including a request to all vehicle owners not to wait for the last date to effect the transactions. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the completion of the development of the second phase of the online MBL platform involving all other types of vehicles, including those holding a public service vehicle license, is expected by the end of this year, and I shall inform the House on the exact timing and for which another sensitization campaign would be undertaken. Sir, the implementation of the first phase of the renewal of the online MBL will help in reducing queuing at the level of the NLTA, and vehicle owners will be able to effect payment for the renewal of their online MBL without any hassle and at the comfort of their home. I thank you. Sir, I have a second statement to make. on the status of the continuum of road safety education project in Mauritius, which is being implemented in line with the National Road Safety Strategy 2016-2025. The aim of road safety education is to reduce the risk of trauma from injury and death due to road accidents and to lay the foundations for safe road use. The Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit of my ministry, in collaboration with the MIE, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology, Mauritius Institute of Education, Mauritius Film Development Corporation, and the Mauritius Police Force have been working together to impart road safety education to primary school students. As at date, the curriculum on road safety for grade 1 to 6 has been developed, and the road safety education pupil books and teacher's guide for grade 1 to 6 have already been distributed in schools. In fact, 86,000 school books have been distributed to the pupils of the different schools. The Ministry of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology has allocated 25 minutes per grade on a weekly basis for the teaching of road safety education as a compulsory subject in primary school curriculum. To make road safety education more appealing to students, the curriculum materials for road safety education for grade 1 and 2 have been digitalized. 28 animated videos in 3 languages, English, French, and Creole, for 28 lessons, and 31 interactive activities for grade 1, and 20 animated videos and 23 interactive activities for grade 2 have been produced. I'm pleased to inform the House that I launched the publications and the digitalized materials at the new Bamboo Geoffroy Government School at Bamboo on the 18th of July 2024 in the presence of the representatives of my ministry, TMRSU, Minister of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology, the MIE, Mauritius Film Development Corporation, and the Mauritius Police Force. All the road safety education materials are available on the website of the Mauritius Institute of Education, which can be downloaded and used offline, and which are accessible on tablets of primary school students. They are also available on the TMRSU YouTube channel. As the way forward, all the published and digitalized materials would be edited and adapted for special education needs pupil by my ministry in collaboration with the Special Education Needs Authority, and the curriculum materials for grade 3 to 6 will also be digitalized in a phased manner. Mr. Speaker, sir, with this road safety education, we look forward to a reduction in road accidents in the years to come, as road safety education would create a new generation of citizens who we hope will be more diligent and courteous on our road. Before thanking you for your attention, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank my colleague, the Minister of Education, for assistance and collaboration.
Yes, Honorable Ramanu.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, I would like to make a statement on the fire outbreak at the Rochebois transfer station. As this House may be aware, there was a fire outbreak on Saturday, the 27th of July, 2024, at Rochebois transfer station, which is operated by a private operator, the joint venture Cesarean Limited, Square Deal Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited. On Saturday, 27th of July 2024, at around 16:05 hours, a fire outbreak was reported by the contractor who operates and maintains the transfer station at Rochebois. The fire and rescue services were on site since 16:15 hours. The fire and rescue services deployed water tankers from various fire stations, and the contractor deployed 2 water tankers and a truck loader to break down the waste stockpile to enable the firefighters to adequately sprinkle water to extinguish the fire. It has been reported that 1 truck loader and 1 lorry found on the lower platform were completely damaged by fire. 1 personnel of the operator was severely injured and was promptly transported to G2 Hospital for first-hand medical care. I am informed that the person has been transferred to the bench unit of Victoria Hospital for treatment. I am further informed that there were 2 other persons on site who were injured and were provided with proper treatment. I wish to convey my special thoughts and prayers to them and their families and wish them rapid recovery. Mr. Speaker, sir, The fire, which propagated rapidly in the waste mass stacked on the lower and upper platforms of the station platform, was significantly extinguished by the night of the Saturday 27th of July 2024, whereas the fire in the waste mass on the lower platform took more time and resources to extinguish. Officers of the National Environmental Laboratory came on site to monitor ambient air quality around the station and nearby residential areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, I effected a site visit on Sunday, 28th of July 2024, together with the Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Local Government, Disaster Risk Management, Honorable Anwar Usnu, and the officers of both ministries to assess the situation and to ensure that adequate resources are being deployed and site security is being reinforced. As at this morning, significant progress has been made with only mild smokes emanating from the transfer station. Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Environmental Laboratory conducted a first ambient air measurements using the portable gas analyzer on the 27th of July 2024, 2 ambient air measurements on the 28th of July 2024, and 1 ambient air measurement on the 29th of July 2024. The exercise was carried out at 5 monitoring sites, namely at Beach Tombeau near Community Center, Beach Tombeau Public Beach, Rochebois at Recreational Park, entrance of Terre Rouge Bird Sanctuary, and Route Abattoir. Tests were carried out to detect the presence of toxic gases, namely nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, benzene, toluene, xylene, naphthalene, and formaldehyde. All the toxic gases screened at all the sites were below the detectable limits of the portable gas analyzer at the time of measurement and was thus compliant to the lowest observed adverse effect level, known as LOAEL. The LOAEL, according to the United States Environment Protection Agency, is the lowest tested dose of a substance that has been reported to cause adverse health effects on people and animals. As regards to observations made on site, for all the monitoring exercises, the smoke was moving in a general southeasterly direction towards the sea. As at date, the smoke is mild and of lesser intensity than observed on the previous days. Ambient air monitoring will be maintained. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards the cause of the fire outbreak, investigations are being carried out by the police and the fire and rescue services, and preliminary reports are awaited. I wish to inform the House that the presence of inflammable aerosol containers and sprays have been found on site, and these are unpermitted waste at transfer stations. Mr. Speaker, sir, on Monday, 29th of July 2024, I chaired a meeting with the operators of all the 5 transfer stations, as well as the landfill, to emphasize the importance of security and access to the site, to draw their attention on better control on permitted and unpermitted types of waste, and to prevent the accumulation of waste. The operators were also reminded of their contractual obligations and responsibilities as custodian of their respective waste management facility. Furthermore, the contract provides for the types of waste that are permitted at the transfer stations in accordance with Part 1 of the first schedule of the local government dumping and waste carriers regulations, which also specifies the exclusion of chemical waste and hazardous waste. Following requests from the operators of the transfer station with regard to security of their staff, it was decided that the assistance of the police will be sought for regular patrols. Mr. Speaker, sir, as several members of the House are aware, there is a high presence of informal waste pickers operating around Rochebois transfer station to recover materials. The site where the current station stands was previously a dumping ground which existed for more than 5 decades or so. Informal scavengers were always found on that dumping ground. In 1992, dumping was stopped and the site was converted into a transfer station having a designated receiving area where waste collected using small lorries are transited before they are disposed at the landfill using long trucks. It helps to reduce both transportation costs and time as a waste collected or disposed at the landfill in larger volumes. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to refer to two reports on waste management which refer to the Rochebois site, namely l'élimination des ordures ménagères, MATIM, of 1976, and the Performance Audit Report number 5 of the Director of Audit, June 2011. The MATIM report made observations that there were, at that point in time, no inhabitants close to the site and recommended that alternative disposal sites be identified. As regards the performance audit report, mentioned the construction of a new transfer station at Richter in replacement of the one at Rochebois. The construction of a new transfer station initially planned at Richter had to be cancelled because of objection from the public living in the vicinity. Gaining public approval for constructing new waste management infrastructure is always a challenge. In 2012, the Rochebois transfer station was upgraded to improve security on site, improve control access, and operational efficiency. It is noted with time that inhabitants constructed their houses closer to the transfer station and more informal waste pickers operated around the station. In view of the prevailing situation, this government is firmly committed to relocating the transfer station from Rochebois to another appropriate location. Mr. Speaker, sir, being conscious of the socio-economic reality of the waste pickers community, my ministry is proposing to have a meeting with relevant stakeholders, such as the Ministry of Local Government and Risk Management, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Ministry of Social Integration, Social Security and National Solidarity, Ministry of Commerce and Consumer Protection, the police, NGOs in the region, amongst others, to find possible remedial actions to address the issue. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that besides addressing the issues of Rochebois transfer station, my ministry has already embarked on a new waste management strategy and action plan to improve the whole chain of waste management with focus on resource recovery, recycling, and environmentally sound disposal of residual waste. As far back as 2015-2016, it was recognized that based on the landfilling rate and the existing design capacity, the Marchicos landfill would reach saturation in 2018. The first option was to look for land to set up new landfills. On the 16th of January 2017 and 8th of March 2017, the Ministry conducted two expressions of interest exercises to identify landowners who could provide land for setting up of a landfill, but this exercise has proved to be non-conclusive. The possibility for securing private plots of land adjacent to the existing landfill and belonging to small planters was also explored. However, this would have entailed lengthy acquisition legal procedures, and it was concluded that it would be unrealistic to rely on this option. The only option was to extend the landfill vertically as far as possible on the same footprint of the existing landfill with an additional stretch of land along the western and southern perimeter of the landfill. In December 2017, government gave its approval to proceed with the project of vertical expansion of the Marchicos landfill. In December 2018, following a procurement exercise, a consultancy firm was recruited to conduct a feasibility study and come up with an optimal design of the vertical expansion of the landfill, and accordingly prepare the detailed design, tender documents for the works operations contract, and provide supervision services throughout. However, delays were encountered in various phases of the consultancy with regard to geotechnical investigations. Tender for the vertical expansion was finally launched in December 2020, and following evaluation at the level of the Central Procurement Board, the latter recommended in April 2022 the annulation of the exercise. A fresh tender exercise was thus undertaken with launching in April 2023, and after evaluation of bids at the Central Procurement Board, the contract for vertical expansion was awarded in June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, A key project in line with our circular economy roadmap, which my ministry is undertaking, is the implementation of 2 regional integrated waste processing facilities comprising sorting units and composting plants under a public-private partnership. Following a procurement exercise under BOT Projects Act, the contract will soon be awarded. This project will enable the diversion of a significant amount of waste landfill. This project is underpinned by segregation of waste at household, commercial and industrial level. Other projects which my ministry has undertaken pertains to the construction of 3 déchetteries at La Laura, Poudre d'Eau and La Chaumière to enable waste generators to bring sorted waste for eventual recycling. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Second reading.
Honourable Parachi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the Maurice Strategy Board Bill number 11 of 2024 be read a second time. It is with great honor that I present today this bill to this House. The purpose of the bill is to perpetuate Maurice Strategy at the Economic Research and Planning Bureau of the country. Economic research and planning are the foundation of effective public policy. It enables us as government to understand the economic, social, and environmental dynamics that shape our country. Through in-depth research, Maurice Strategy will identify the challenges and opportunities we face and develop strategies that maximize the benefits for our nation. The setting up of such entity will also provide Mauritius with the opportunity to learn from international best practice and adapt this knowledge and experiences to our specific context. Mr. Speaker, sir, strategic planning is key to anticipate future trends, define clear objectives, and mobilize the resources needed to achieve them. It allows to align public efforts with a common vision for our future and to measure our progress in a transparent and accountable way. In this context, the work conducted by Maurice Strategy as a statutory body will focus on 3 fundamental pillars, which are economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social cohesion. To achieve these ambitious goals, we will need to rely on reliable data and rigorous analysis. This means strengthening our data collection capabilities, promoting interdisciplinary research, and fostering collaboration between the public, private, and academic sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, with respect to the economic sphere, Maurice Strategy's research will enable us to better understand the sectors driving growth and innovation. It will help the authorities to identify the most effective fiscal and monetary policies to stimulate investment, employment, and productivity. Strategic planning, meanwhile, will guide us in the allocation of budgetary resources, ensuring that every rupee spent generates maximum value for our economy and our people. On the environmental front, research conducted by Maurice Strategy will be essential to assess the impact of our actions on our ecosystem and to develop sustainable solutions. Planning will enable us to set targets for reducing carbon emissions, managing natural resources, and preserving biodiversity in line with our 2030 objectives. Finally, in terms of social cohesion, Maurice Strategy will be tasked to provide us with valuable insights into the needs and aspirations of our citizens, especially the most vulnerable ones. Mr. Speaker, sir, against this background, this bill provides and sets clear objectives and functions of Maurice Strategy. As such, Maurice Strategy will provide support to the government through the development of short-term to long-term plans, visions, and strategies. Undertake in-depth economic research and analysis to support policy choices, drive public debate, and provide recommendations to support collective choices on social, economic, and environmental issues, and evaluate government policies. Mr. Speaker, sir, this critical legislation will establish a robust framework and empower Maurice Strategy with the necessary tools to operate efficiently and deliver exceptional results. This includes the authority to request relevant information, documents, research findings, and data from any public sector agency. Maurice Strategy will therefore have comprehensive access to resources required to fulfill its mandate. Furthermore, to guarantee a unified approach across government agencies, the Maurice Strategy Board is comprised primarily of specific positions within relevant agencies and not individuals. These appointments are based on expertise and not political affiliation, as our opponents have mistakenly suggested. This guarantees that Maurice Strategies leverages the best minds available and safeguards the institution's longevity. Mr. Speaker, sir, in a significant move towards greater inclusivity, we are expanding the composition of the board of Maurice Strategy in line with suggestions received during consultations with various stakeholders, including private sector associations and international development partners. This will ensure that the critical perspectives of the private sector and academia are directly represented at the decision-making table. It must be highlighted that a cornerstone of our government program for this mandate under the leadership of our Prime Minister is the establishment of an Economic Research and Planning Bureau. While the opposition talks about economic planning, they never mention it in their past electoral manifesto. This vital initiative will serve as a collaborative platform fostering a spirit of partnership between public and private sector entities. Through this combined effort, we aim to propel our nation's economic growth trajectory on a sustainable and inclusive path. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the current global climate, characterized by the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing geopolitical uncertainties, it is essential for Mauritius to foster long-term economic resilience. By implementing a comprehensive medium to long-term economic plan, we will strategically navigate these challenges and unlock transformative opportunities for our nation's prosperity. Last but not least, allow me to say a few words on the collaboration with international stakeholders. Here, allow me to express our sincere appreciation to the Agence Française de Développement, which is currently financing the services of a consultant from Expertise France to assist in the structuring of Maurice Strategy, the construction and integration of the tools and methods required to carry out the missions of Maurice Strategy, and the development of the annual work programs. I would also like to highlight that since its inception, Maurice Strategy has been collaborating with other international development partners, such as the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the World Bank. Once again, and to conclude, the support and commitment of these international stakeholders clearly highlight how important Maurice Strategy is already and will be even more in the coming years. To conclude, allow me to say that Maurice Strategy is not a nice to have, but definitely a must have for the future of our nation, of our country, and of our people. On these words, I thank you for your attention.
I suspend the sitting for half an hour.